Welcome back to the Crochet Creatives. That's my friends at yarnspirations.com. We're going to get right to the point today with this crochet flower tote bag. This is using Red Heart Super Saver. There's 2 balls of the shocking pink and 1 ball of pumpkin. For myself, I'm using Caring 1 Pound on camera today, and I'm using deep pink and living coral. You're using a 4.5 millimeter size US 7 crochet hook and also a 3.5 millimeter size F. So I'm going to be demonstrating this today. I realized that about a quarter way through the bag I was doing it incorrectly. It looks pretty similar to what this is, but I am going to demonstrate it that way as well. I found it was really quite effective and really quite easy for me to be able to maintain. So if you'd like to follow the exact pattern, then you can do so by just following the instructions here. So this pattern here, it just took me a few nights to be able to make. It wasn't that hard. And so we're gonna start off with the bottom of the bag here, and then we're gonna progress ourselves then to where we need to go. And one thing I should tell you is that during the preparation for this, I questioned why the upper piece here is not showing the upper edging, and it turns out that the photographer accidentally tucked in the top of this bag inside the top here. So you're going to notice that's going to be on camera today, but it's not here visually in the photographs. So without further ado, let's get started. You're going to need some stitch markers, and remember that I am going to do it my own way, but if you tell Yarn Inspirations, just remember that snitches get stitches, and let's begin. So like always, I have my tutorial prep done. This is the one side of the bag. This is the good side. I would consider the other side does have the slip stitching line that you will see. It's kind of minor, but it's there. And we have then the flower that will be attached to it. I also have been working through that, and I have not done the outside edging for this yet. So that I will be doing that on camera. And then this the straps are just really fabulous. So I've done those as well, and we're just going to work step by step. But once I get beyond the base here, you're just going to follow this up until the cows come home, and then I'm going to pick you up at the top of this bag here. So without further ado, the dog hair is included in today's tutorial. We're going to start immediately with doing this bag. With your 4.5 millimeter size US 7 crochet hook, I need you with the main color, which is the shocking pink. Mine's called deep pink here on camera, and I want to chain 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and go all the way to 30, and meet me back here in a moment. So put me on pause. For round number 1, we want to have some stitch markers. I just use spare yarn to be able to identify the stitches later. And it's a really nice, easy pattern to be able to follow. So we're going to go and do 3rd chain from the hook. So count it back. So 1, 2, 3. And when you do that, you're going to then half double crochet there. So the chains that I just skipped over are not going to count as anything. They're just more of a builder. And now I want to chain 1, and in the same one, that 3rd one away, it was just a half double crochet. So they're telling us to put in a stitch marker in the chain 1 space. So just grab one of those spare pieces of yarn. We're essentially just creating almost a granny square corner, to be quite honest with you. So just leave it there, and what you have to do is that I'm going to go along the back edge or the back loop of the chain, and I want to just half double crochet myself all the way across. And what I'll do is that I'll meet you at the end of the line, and I will show you what to do at the very end, because we need to turn around and come along the other edge here to finish off. So we're going to actually go in a complete revolution of a circle. So let's do that, and I'll see you at the end of the line now. So I'm coming up to my very last chain here, and this is going to be the turning chain. So I'm just going to half double crochet first, and then I'm going to chain 1. And if you want to put in a stitch marker right now, you can do that and just leave it so it captures inside the stitch, or you can apply it later. It's up to you. I would do it though. Okay, so then you put that there, and in the same one, half double crochet again, and then chain 1, and then get another stitch marker and go into the same one again. So these stitch markers are indicating the corners that you'll be using in the future. Okay, so you have one corner and you have the other one. Now you're just going to go across, starting in the next chain right here, and I would go right up over top of the straggler, the loose end, start here and just half double crochet yourself back to where you had started. Okay, and I'll see you there in a moment, just show you how to finish off, and just get these stitch markers out of your way and just leave them in position so that you can save the trouble later. So half double crochet across, and I'll see you at the end of the revolution. I'm coming all the way across, and do you see this one here? This is the last stitch. So I'm just going to focus on that one. So I'm coming into the second last one, and here I want to half double crochet first, and then get another stitch marker so you can identify it. This will be another corner, and you were going to do a single crochet to the top of the first half right here. Ignore that chain that we did, and this is a half double crochet join, and that keeps you in the corner. So your stitch markers will be exactly in the corners of your project, so just think about it like as a rectangle blanket, and that'll help you to be able to move forward. Let's begin round number 2. Round number 2, we're going to start off, we're currently in the corner right where this stitch marker is, and we want to chain a total of 2. This will not count as anything, and you are going to then place in a half double crochet into the same, around the same half double crochet join. Okay, so just go right in where the corner is, and now you are going to come into the only half double crochet that's here. This is just the short side, and then you are going to come into the next corner right here, so it's already here with the stitch marker, and you are going to half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet. Before you go any further, move your stitch markers up. Okay, so you'll be able to do that here, and so this one you'll have to do it later when you get back around, but this one is ready, and so you're just going to take the stitch marker and just pull it through so that you can see this corner in the future. So just leave the other stitch marker position there, just let the yarn just flow through. So your goal now is to continue, and you're going to start right here, and you're going to half double crochet yourself across until you get to the next corner that is marked by the stitch marker. So I will see you there in just a moment. So I'm hitting my first corner next, it's right here, and so I'm going to put in my half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet. And if you want to move that stitch marker up while you're here, you can. I would do it if you weren't watching me, just so you know. So then we come into the only half double crochet that's here on the short side. The top is right there. Noticing that the tops are always just to closest to the hook. Okay, so people think it can be over here. It can be here, but you just have to be consistent about where you're pushing your hook. So then the corner is next. So it's a half double crochet. You can see it through the stitch marker, chain 1, and half double crochet. And again, move that stitch marker up so you can see it. And now you're going to crochet then, starting right here. Just move it out to the side if you don't see it. It's right here. And you're going to half double crochet yourself until you get to the next corner, which will finish off round number 2. And I'll be right back in a moment. So I'm coming up, and you're going to notice, or coming to the end, and you're going to notice is that when you're getting on the base here, it looks pretty small, but it will open up when you start doing the sides. So I'm at the here, and now I'm going to go into my corner. The first part of the corner is already done, so you just got to put in a half double crochet first, and then let the stitch marker just stay in position so you can see it, and then just do a single crochet join to the first half double crochet. Okay, so once that is done, then move that stitch marker up. Make sure everything stays tight. See how it's a little loose here? I want to retry that again, just pulling it a bit tighter, especially in the base of a bag, it matters the most. So pull tighter, and then just move that stitch marker so you can see it again. So let's begin round number 3. Round number 3, we're just going to get bigger to what you already know how to do. So you're going to just chain 2, it won't count as anything, and then in the same corner that you can see with the stitch marker, it's going to be a half double crochet. Now you're just going to half double crochet in the tops of all of these that you have here, and in this case there's only going to be a total of 3 in a row. So you have 1, 2, and 3. See that? Don't confuse this chain 2 has anything. Okay, so just do 1, 2, and 3. You can see that on the diagram as well. And so then your corner is next. So it'll be a half double crochet, chain 1, and a half double crochet. And then move your stitch marker to go in position. So I think you know what you're doing at this point. So I want you to go all the way around. When you hit the next stitch markers on the other side, just make sure that you're putting a half double crochet, chain 1 half double crochet in each one of the corners. And if you need those stitch counts, just refer to the diagram that you'll find on the pattern itself, and just continue to move along. So do this all the way around for round number 3. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm at the end of number 3, and I just got to finish the last corner, which is marked by the stitch marker. And then I'm going to just move my stitch marker and do a half double crochet, sorry, a single crochet join to the first. So you're going to notice that the stitch markers don't always look like they're in the exact corners. Don't worry about it. Okay, just keep going with it and just fake it or make it. Because the bag goes and basically follows around, it will work out. Okay, so let's move on to round number 4. It's exactly what we just did, and try it again. So number 4 is the last time that you're going to be growing bigger on the base. So you're going to chain 2 and in the single crochet join, just half double crochet. And you'll finish this when you get back around. Don't confuse this chain 2 as a stitch, so you'll start right here. And so you're just going to work your way to the next corner. Your corners are marked with the stitch markers if you're following it the way that I'm telling you to. And just do your half double crochet, chain 1 and half double crochet when you go to do that. Okay, so keep moving your stitch marker just up for one more time here, and then we're going to be leaving those into the past and moving forward with this design. So please go around, and I'll see you at the end of this rotation, and then we're going to start something new at the end. So I'm coming around here on the 4th round. So I just have to come into the last corner, half double crochet, and then single crochet to join. So I can move the stitch marker there if you feel better, but you really don't need to worry about that any further. And we're now going to progress to the side of the bag and do the first round. Let's begin. So let's begin. We're going to chain 2, which will count as nothing. It's just a builder. And I don't want you to worry about any of the chain 1 spaces. Remember, this is a chain 2, so don't include this one. So you start right here, and you're going to do a back post half double crochet. Okay, this creates a little bit of a lip at the base. You'll notice my sample did not have that, and that's because I didn't do it quite right. As I mentioned in the introduction, I kind of went on my own direction. If you're gonna do things in your own direction, just make sure that you're always consistent. Okay, so you do it, it's right for you. So I'm just going to go completely all the way around with the back post half double crochet, and just ignore the chain 1 corners, and this will pull everything together. Okay, so just jump after the chain 1 and just continue to do the back post half double crochet, and you'll see it will have a beautiful base at the bottom. So please do this all the way around. This is the first round of the side of the bag. So I'm coming all the way around, and we're just going to go to the very last one just before the corner. And we want to just then join it with a slip stitch to the top of the first back post half double crochet. Okay, so now you have a lip that's on the base, which doesn't exist on my other sample, but I'm going to show you a little technique. I was just thinking about this. I can keep a little bit of a line, and I'm going to show you the next round. And of course, if you want to refer to the pattern, you can do so as well. But let's go on to the next round, and we're going to show you how to do the half double crochet in the row below. The next round is going to essentially be 2 half double crochets that share the same stitch, and because of it, it's wider, so it's going to push out the bag so that the base here will be more narrower than the actual bag itself, and that's what we're looking for. To begin this stitch, we're going to start off by chaining 2, and this is just going to get us started on the round, so this is the only time that you'll do that. You then want to, in the same stitch where you've done the slip stitch, you want to do a half double crochet. So you're just going to wrap the hook and come through and pull through and hold. Now you're going to come to the stitch below, and what I did on my sample is that I yarned over, and you want to half double crochet. If you go into both of the tops of the stitches, both of the strands, it buries in and gets rid of the bottom lip. However, and then basically you pull through, and then you pull through all of these loops. And so it's like a two together stitch. So you would start the next one, and then you would just half double crochet coming through, and then coming to the next row below. And if you go into both of the loops, it buries in and gets rid of the bottom line. I think the bottom line is actually more attractive, so let me show you how I would think you would do it if you want to keep the bottom line. So let's just start off. We're going to half double crochet the first. Okay, so just hold, and then instead of going into both of the strands, just use the back loop only in the row below. And what this is going to do, it's going to keep one of the lines visible so that you have a base. First one's always a bit of a challenge. Then you yarn over, pull through everything, and this is going to keep one of the strands available. So then back here, half double crochet the next one just to hold, and then just use the back loop only in the row below. And so if you do that and then pull through everything, you keep this bottom line going. So half double crochet the next, and then come to the row below. So every stitch is kind of like double work, but what you're doing by doing this is you're creating the double thickness of the material, so it's a lot thicker. So coming through, and then the base. And you're going to do this all the way around for this round. And as I mentioned, because I'm doing that, you're going to be able to see a line that will be carried around. So please do this concept all the way around, and I'll be right back. So I'm coming all the way around, and I've just done my last one. And I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of the first half double crochet. So I know what you're probably thinking. After you slithered your way around, you want to quit. Don't quit yet. The first round of this is a tough round, okay? Because you're not used to it, but I'm also gonna, I got you. Don't quit yet, because it actually will get simpler from here. And you're going to notice is that this is now double the thickness than what this was on the base. So I'm going to show you the way that it's telling you to do it, and then I'm going to demonstrate the way that I did it, because I did it wrong, but it still works, and it still looks pretty good too. So let's begin the next round. So now you're going to continue to go round and around and around until the bag can measure 13 inches, and that's from folding the bag flat and just measuring up. So when you start a new round, you're going to always chain 2. It won't count as anything, and you are going to start with your half double crochet in the first one, okay? And then the next one, see this here where it's coming down? That's exactly where the stitch is, okay? And you're just going to come down and pull up, and this one's a little bit longer, and you're just going to put it there, and it will puzzle in between. So the next one is on the top, and then the next one is right here. I know my fingers are fat, but it's right there. Okay, and this is creating the thickness. Okay, and it does a really cool stitch definition. So you come into the top, and then this is the row below. It's right there. Okay, and so every time you do this, you keep on focusing on that. So the next row below will literally be right here next time when you come back around. I'm going to demonstrate it the way that I did, and that is coming up next right here. So you chain your 2, and because I misunderstood the instruction, I went into the top, okay? And then what I did is that I went right here. See that open space? I just went into that space, pulled through, and then pulled through everything. And it basically puzzled it right in between. So come to the top, and then I just went into the space between the half double crochets. So you have to determine what you want, okay? this was a lot faster to my point of view. But again, if you want to return back to what the pattern is saying, you go into the top and then you focus right where it's pulling up here. So determine how you want to do this, and then whatever you've decided to do, just be consistent about that. And you're going to go around and around and around until the whole thing measures 13 inches. And then from there, we're going to continue our journey from this point. So you're going to put me on pause now and determine how you're going to do this. And I'll see you at the top, and I'll see you again next time when you're ready. It took me a few minutes to get to the top, just watching TV, and that's where I'm going to see you next time. So from the miracle of the internet, I have it done. Okay, somebody does his homework in advance. So I'm just going to do my last stitch. And as I said, I just went between the stitches and I come through, and then I'm just going to join it to the top of the first, just like that. So at the end of 13 inches, which this is, I'm just going to fasten off this yarn to just kind of pull it through. We can use our tapestry needle later, just toss it into the interior of the bag. And then we're going to continue then, and we're going to do the border section, which is not showing in the pattern because it's been tucked inside the bag by accident. So this is where we are, and we're going to now start and do the last few rounds with the other color that you have. In my case, it's called Living Coral. So moving on to the border section, which has been tucked inside the bag, I want to start exactly where I did my slip stitch right here. And I'm just going to join it and chain 2, as it won't count as anything. And starting in the same one, I want to half double crochet. So we're no longer focusing on between the stitches, and then you just come to the next one and just half double crochet. So you're going to half double crochet yourself all the way around on this bag, and I'll be right back in a moment. This is the first round. And now through the miracle of the internet, we're back around again, and you're just going to slip stitch to the first half double crochet. So the rounds number 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be the same. Let's begin. 2, 3, and 4, remember that the chain 2 does not ever count as anything, so just leave it out of the way and start on the very first one, and you're going to half double crochet in the back post all the way around. Okay, so each stitch is 1 half double crochet in the back post, and you're going to do this around for rounds number 2, 3, and 4, and just slip stitch when you get around and just continue on. So do this, and I'll be back in just a moment at the end of the 4th round. So just come around and I slip stitch, and now I'm done with this particular one. So any of the items that we have, we just need to join it to the beginning when we go to do that and just finish it off. Okay, so when I go to weave in my ends, I want to favor the inside. Now the stylist accidentally left this on the inside of the bag. It's tucked in, as you see in the sample, but it's actually supposed to be out, and I did confirm that with the designer. So let's just show you how to weave in the ends. So any of the ends that you will have, just put onto a tapestry needle and favor the inside of the bag for this particular process. So do this with all of those ends. So just tuck it to the inside so I have more to do. And so I'm just going to go and stay in the inside of the bag. So I should not see that coming through, like coming through to the good side. Just drag it through. And then coming back. And one more time. So 3 times is a charm, and do that with any of the loose ends that you'll have on this project. Let's move on in the project, and we're going to start the handles next. Okay, we're moving on to the handles now. You will need to make 2 handles. They're really quite simple to make, and I have all the prep work done and both of my handles are done. So the front side, when you're looking at the bag, when you're holding it, has the surface overlay. That's really cute. We'll be doing a button to it later, and the underside looks just as clean. You want to take your time with the bag handles. The bag handles are everything when it comes to this kind of stuff. So let's move on. We're going to be using the larger crochet hook again, and that's a 4.5mm size G, and we're going to continue, and we're going to use this color here that you see. So let's begin to do that next. So let's begin to do the bag. Create a slip knot to start, and you are going to chain 95, and when you chain 95, it's just simple, just chain 95. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go all the way to 95. On the camera today, I will just be doing a small little swatch with you, but just chain 95 and meet me back for round number 1. Hopefully you have your 95 done. I want you to go and put 2 single crochets second chain from the hook, so just count back, so 1 and 2, and place 2 bad boy single crochets into that stitch. I recommend staying on the back side of the chain because it'll be easier for you to use when you come back around. Now I just want you to slam in some single crochets all the way across your chain, and I'll see you at the end of the chain here in a moment. So please, just 1 single crochet in your chains all the way across. So you've been noticing that there is some stragglers here on the table, and when I get to the very last one, I am going to put in 3 single crochets into the last chain. So you do 1, 2, and 3. Now the first one of the 3, I want you to place in a stitch marker right into that one, and this is going to help you not have to count. So just grab a spare piece of yarn and just pull it through, and when you see that next time, you're going to say, oh, that's when I have to do something fun. So now you're going to just jog across the top or the other side of your chain. So just turn the whole thing upside down, which I did, and start right here. Put your straggler down on top of the line so it gets trapped into position. And what I want you to do is crochet all the way back across this underside of the chain, and I'll see you on the other side of this in a moment. So I've now come all the way back across, and this is the very first one that has 2 single crochets in here. So I'm going to place only 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch it to the top of the first single crochet. But before you do anything further, I want you in that first single crochet to place the other stitch marker that's here. And then therefore you don't have to count that either. It's your lucky day. So let's put this back onto the hook and let's start round number. We're going to begin round number 2. Just chain up 1 and place in 2 single crochets into the first one. And then 2 single crochets into the next. And then I want you blast all the way across until you get to that other stitch marker that I had you put in. And I will see you there in a moment. So just 1 single crochet until you get to the next stitch marker, and then we're going to have a gay old time. So I'm coming all the way to the next stitch marker, and because you marked it, okay, you are just going to put 2 single crochets into the same one that you marked. And just for the fun of it, move that stitch marker up to the first one of the 2. Okay. And now the next 2 single crochets are each going to be 2 single crochets each. So that's going to whip you around to do that. Okay. So you technically have 3 stitches that have 2 single crochets in there. So now you're going to blast your way all the way back to the beginning, and right where you put that last stitch marker is your last stitch, and you're going to put in 2 single crochets. But wait, I will see you there in just a moment. So I'm coming all the way back to the other side, and in the one that has the stitch marker, place in 2 single crochets and then join it to the top of the first single crochet that you had. And just for the fun of it, place in that stitch marker in the first one of the group of 2. And let's move on to the third round next. Okay, we're going to chain up 1 and put 2 single crochets in the same space as the join. So 1 and 2. And then you're going to single crochet in the next, and then 2 single crochets in the next. You're now going to blast all the way across, again 1 single crochet in every stitch, and then I will see you at the first one that I marked with the stitch marker, and that will be coming up next. Okay, so coming into the stitch marker, place in 2 single crochets into that one, 1 single crochet into the next, 2 into the next one after that, 1 into the next, and then 2 single crochets into the one after that, and then you're done. So I want you to continue then around until you get to the other stitch marker at the beginning of the round. So I'm coming to the stitch marker that is marked. You're going to place in 2 single crochets, and then 1 into the next, and then you are going to join it with the first. So this is where I made a mistake on my original. I just realized it. So I will show you what I did wrong, and then you can pull out your stitch markers. Those are done. And let me show you what I did wrong. So yours truly actually made a mistake, and I changed my color in the last one. I was crocheting at nighttime. I don't know what I was thinking, but the original is supposed to be the same color right to the end, and then this pink is just the surface overlay. So you can decide what you would like to do. There's no crochet police as far as I know, but you can let me know in the comments. So I'm going to keep this yarn going because that's what it says to do, and we're going to move on to the fourth and final round. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do reverse single crochet. Oh my god, I just heard somebody huff. Reverse single crochet isn't that bad. It's also called the crab stitch, so if you want to be all crabby about it, that's fine. So we're going to just chain up one and single crochet into the first, and then you're going to go backwards. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. There's no crochet police, but then come into the one behind and then yarn over, pull through, and then pull through two. So you're crocheting technically backwards. So that's why it's called the reverse single crochet. You don't have to worry about anything for the corners. You just have to completely go around and reverse single crochet. And I'll show you a little hiding technique with the yarn when I come back around in a moment. So I'm coming all the way back around, and I'm going to show you a little technique that I would strongly recommend. When you do reverse single crochet, it can always look like sin. So if sin had a look, this is what it would look like. So I want you not to join it with the slip stitch. Okay, just pull through. And I want you to grab that tapestry needle that you love so much, and you can pull out your stitch markers because it's pretty much done. And we want to be able to attach this to the first one, and you got to do it in a way that it makes sense on those ridges. Okay, so I want you just to turn it over to the back of it and just kind of come in through the back side through the first stitch. And what you're doing is you're dragging it over, and when you drag it, turn it back to the good side here. And when you pull on it, pull it so it kind of makes sense. Okay. So you don't want to over tighten it that you're going to lose your the lumps that you see, or the bumps, whatever you want to call them. And so now I'm going to secure that into position. So make sure the needle never comes to the good side of the work, and pull through. And I want you to secure it back and forth a total of 3 times. If you want to tie it into a knot because you feel paranoid, that's fine. And so we have one more thing to do on this. We have to do the surface overlay. And that's going to be coming up next. So once you have everything secured, you have what it looks like this. And now we're going to do the surface overlay that will provide the fun stuff. We're now going to do surface overlay. Do not create a slip knot. Okay, make sure you have an extra long. We're now going to do surface overlay, and surface overlay is kind of fun, at least to my point of view. Create a loop. Do not create a slip knot because you'll see that popping through, and that will really drive you nuts. So just choose this ridge right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to play in between this one and this one, so it's right here. And so I'm going to stick my hook through the work, and I'm going to pull that loop through. So put it on and pull through, and the yarn has to stay on the back of the project. Okay, so you're going to crochet with your hand in behind. So you're still going to hold it the way you normally do, and this is going to be like a sewing machine. So you're going to look for the next gap, and you're just going to play within the gaps, and when you pull through, just be consistent on the look. So you're going to look for the next gap, so going in and pulling it through, and this is going to create this line on the good side of the work. And I want you to follow this all the way around, including going around the circle that you will have. And I'll see you back here at the end of the rotation. So just make sure you follow the contour and going around like a race car, as if it's doing a turn of the track. So I'm coming all the way back around. I just have one more to jump, but I don't want to finish it with my crochet hook because then you're going to have something that looks like sin. That's my motive today, or that's my theme today, is sin. So I'm just going to pull this out, and you're going to say, well, why are you not joining that? Because I'm going to use my needle to finish it so it looks like it's perfect. So you're never going to be able to tell the start and the finish of the surface overlay. So what I want you to do is that I want you to grab the needle and just glide under the next one here. Okay. And pull through. And do you see where this one is coming out of? Go directly in the middle of that, where that one's coming out of. And when you do that, it's gonna look finished. And then you're gonna turn it over to the back side, and you are just going to secure it back and forth a total of 3 times, which I've already showed you how to do. So please secure this one as well, and then proceed to your next handle. And then we're gonna continue to move along because we have a big flower to make next. We're now going to make the flower that is on the front of the bag. This is what it looks like in raw format. So we're gonna make ourselves a large circle, and then each one of the petals is done individually onto this particular concept. So the petals are actually really quite easy to do, and then we need to trace the petal then with some bordering at the end of this, so I wanted to get one whole one done. So let me show you how to get started, how to make a petal, and then you can do the rest, and then I'll be back to show you how to frame this up at the end. So let's use our 4.5mm size G crochet hook, and we're gonna use the same color that we were just using for the handles because the flower is a different color than the body of the bag. Let's create a slip knot to begin. And we're going to chain a total of 2. I'm keeping a stitch marker close. So 1 and 2, and let's go on to round number 1 next. Okay, round number 1, we're gonna go 6 chain from the hook. And we're gonna do a continuous revolution so that we don't end up with a spiral, like a slip stitch. So it's gonna be 6 into the second one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And they say to put a marker on the first one. I like to put it onto the last one, so you can decide which way you want to go. And it always just signifies to me that it's the end of the round. So there was round number 1, and we're going to start round number 2 in just a moment. So I now don't want to do anything. I don't want to chain 1, and I just want to go into the very first one. We're going to do a continuous round. So you can find the first one by counting it back to the 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's right here. So what we have to do with this one here is that we are going to place in 2 single crochets into each of the 6 going around. And on the very last one, I want to move my stitch marker up onto the very last stitch. So 2 single crochets in all the stitches around, and I'll be right back in a moment for round number 2. So you're getting around, the stitch marker is in the last one, so move your stitch marker up to the last one again, and we're going to move on to round number 3 in just a moment. Okay, round number 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 into the next, and that's going to be your repeating going all the way around. Okay, and so then there's going to be 1 into the round number 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet in the first one and then 2 single crochets into the next, and that's going to be your repeat going all the way around. Okay, so 1 into the next, 2 into the one after that. Do that all the way around, and make sure you move up that stitch marker when you get all the way around. I'll see you on round number 4 in just a moment. Okay, round number 4, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And that'll be your repeat for round number 4. So 2 by itself, and then 2 into the next, and do that, and I'll see you on the beginning of round number 5 in just a moment. Okay, let's start round number 5. Round number 5 is going to be 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 into the next. And that's your repeat going all the way around for number 5. So do that, and I'll see you on number 6. So 3 in a row and 2 into the next. I'll be right back. Okay, round number 6, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 into the next. And that's your repeat going all the way around. And this will be the final round of the center, so it's going to be 4 by itself and 2 into the next. Please do this all the way around, and I'll be right back. So I'm coming up all the way around on the end of number 6, and so there's going to be 2 into the last one because I'm keeping the counts. We're now just going to keep this yarn going, and we're going to do our first petal, but after the first petal is that we have to then fasten off and then start the rest of the petals. So let's begin to do the first petal. So we're going to do our first petal. We're still looking at the right side of the work. You can technically get rid of the stitch marker if you want to. And we're going to chain 1, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in the same one here right in the very beginning. Okay, so 2 into this one, and then 1 single crochet into the next 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 single crochets into the next one. Turn your work backwards, and we're now going to begin row number 2. You may want to check this off on your list. I found with myself I had to do that before, if I recall. So now I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to just place in 1 single crochet in each one of the stitches going across. There's a total of 8 stitches, so if you want to count those out, you can. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Turn your work, and let's begin row number 3. Row number 3, we're going to do another increase. We're going to chain up 1 and place 2 single crochets into the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in all of the stitches all the way to the end, but the very last stitch should have 2 single crochets in it to expand it out. So you don't hear me counting because I don't need to, because I can look for the visual. But if you need to count, the counts are available in the pattern. So the last one will have 2 single crochets into it. And you're going to turn your work and begin row number 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 are all the same. Just chain up 1 and place in 1 single crochet into each stitch. Turn your work, do it again, chain 1 and single crochet in, and then turn your work again and chain 1 in 1 single crochet. So please do this for rows number 4, 5, and 6. And I'll be right back in a moment to kick you off on row number 7. Rows number 7, 8, and 9 are all the same. You're going to chain up 1, and the first 2 will become together as a single crochet 2 together. So going into the first stitch, pull through, going into the next stitch, pull through, and pull through all 3 loops. You're then going to single crochet all the way to the other side, and the last 2 stitches will become a single crochet 2 together. And so rows number 7, 8, and 9 are all like this. I will show you row number 8 just to make sure you're identifying the stitches properly. So here's the last 2, so put those together. So turn your work, and row number 8, you chain up 1, put the first 2 together again, and then blast your way across with single crochets. And the final 2 that you see right here is a 2 together. And I got you this far, so I'm going to turn again, do row number 9, chain up 1, put the first 2 together, okay, and then do your last 2 together, and then we're going to move on to row number 10, so turn. So row number 10, chain up 1, and you're going to single crochet 2 together twice. So you do the first 2 together, and then the next 2 together, and then turn around, and round number 11, or row number 11 is next. Chain up 1 and just single crochet 2 together, and you're done. You may want to not do what I did. You may want to just secure your tail ends at the end and get rid of them because you won't need them. And this is 1 petal. So I'm going to show you the second petal, which is joining it to the first one here, and then all the rest are the same thing going all the way around. Okay, so we're going to start again. So the next 6 are going to make up the first row. And so we're now going to start the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So you start with the next one that's available, and you're just going to put your hook in, just attach it, chain 1, and put 2 single crochets into that one. That's how we started. And then we are going to put in then 4 single crochets in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And noticing that I'm going over the straggler so I don't have to sew that in later. And then put 2 into the next one. So you've now just established this. So technically rows number 2 all the way through 11 is the same with what you already know, but I'll take you through it anyway. So let's turn our work and do row number 2. Row number 2, chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way across. And then you're going to turn your work, and let's begin row number 3. Row number 3, you're going to chain up 1 and put 2 single crochets into the first, and 1 single crochet into each of them all the way to the end. The last one will have 2 single crochets into the last stitch. Now rows number 4, 5, and 6 are as follows. Chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet into each stitch, and you'll turn your work, do that for number 5 and same for number 6. So 4, 5, and 6 is 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way. I'll see you on row number 7 in just a moment. Rows 7, 8, and 9 are all the same, and it's one chain up 1 and put the first 2 together, and then single crochet across, and then put the last 2 together, and you'll do that for the 8th and 9th row as well. So 7th, 8th, 9, please do this. And it's just like we started on the first petal, and I'll be right back on the 10th round and our 10th row in just a moment. 10th row is just chain up 1 and do single crochet 2 together twice. Turn your work and do the 11th row, just chain up 1 and single crochet 2 together just one time, and then you're done. So this is this petal. So you're going to start again for your next petal into the next stitch, do exactly what I just showed you here, and you're going to do that, and you'll end up with 6 petals all the way around the center. When I come back, we're going to do the outer edge in just a moment. So we're now going to do the outer edge. We're going to use the same color so that it gets hidden and buried pretty easily. And we are going to go up over top of the stragglers that are on the end to help bury it even further. So going into the top peak here, you're just going to attach it, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet again. So I want to keep the stragglers together. So now you're going to equally space at the end of each one of the rows 11 single crochets that will go down. And I'm going right over top of the straggler to hide it. So once I get about halfway, I can get rid of the stragglers. So I'm going to say this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to let the stragglers go. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then we're just going to slip stitch in between the 2 petals. And then work my way up the next petal, going 11 up, and then do 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 single crochet at the peak, and then 11 down. Please do this all the way around, and I'll be right back in a moment. So I'm coming all the way back around, and I'm just going to single crochet right to the end, and I'm going to attach to the beginning single crochet that I started with. So now we're going to move on, and we're going to do the slip stitching that will go around the layer that you've done this the single crochet attached to. Okay, we're now going to start in doing surface overlay. I would probably pick around here, and we are going to use where you attach your single crochets to there. So again, loop it like you did with the handle, and we'll secure the tail end later. And just wherever the single crochets went in, that's where you're going to position your surface overlay. And so you're going to follow this all the way around through each one of the petals and come back here in just a moment. So I'm coming all the way around and I'm going to do exactly what I did on the handles. I'm going to trim this yarn and I'm going to secure it in the same way of dragging this and putting it through there and coming back down and secure it on the back side. So please do that and we're going to move on next. Okay, let's move on and make the tuft buttons, and these are really quite cool. The wrong side is facing out on the sample, so we want to make sure that happens, and I recommend you get a stitch marker ready, and we're going to begin in just a moment. And so just create a slip knot and make sure you leave a long tail. Don't forget that, you'll use that to help sew it to the bag. So just put in a slip knot and then chain 2. Okay, and let's begin the first round. Okay, let's begin. We're going to do the tuft buttons. You need a total of 4 of these. You need to use the small size hook of a 3.5mm size E as in Edward. We're going to begin and create a long tail. You'll use that to sew it in and create that slip knot that you need and chain 2. And let's begin round number 1. Second chain from the hook, I need you to put in 6 single crochets. So let's do that and go right up over top of the straggler as you do it. So this is number 2. It's going to be tight because of the hook size. It's 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're not going to do any slip stitching, so just put on the last 6 one, just put in a stitch marker so you know where you are on the rounds and to pull those through. And let's pull this tighter and let's begin round number 2. Round number 2, we're going to put in 2 single crochets in each. If you're not sure, you can count back the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's right here. And so each one of these all the way to the stitch marker is going to have 2 single crochets. And what I need you to do is move that stitch marker up then on the last one, on the last stitch, so that you know where it is. So put 2 singles in each of the stitches all the way around and move that stitch marker when you get there. And I'll be right back. Okay, round number 3, you're going to start off and the next one will be 1 single crochet, and then the one after that is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1 and 2. So there'll be 1 into the next, 2 in the next one after that, and do that all the way to the stitch marker and move your stitch marker up to the last stitch that's performed. And I'll be right back at the end of number 3. Okay, rounds number 4 and 5 are just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches and move that stitch marker as you do it. So 4 and 5, 1 single in each, and please do that and I'll be back at the end of number 5. Okay, round number 6, we're going to start decreasing. See the way that this orientation has happened? This is the good side of the work. Keep it to the inside so that the wrong side is facing out. We're now going to start and you're going to single crochet the next and then put the other 2 together. So single crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. So the repeat is 1 by itself and then 2 together. Do that all the way around for number 6. Okay, the final round, number 7, is that you're going to put the next 2 together, single crochet 2 together, and you'll do that all the way around. So put the next 2 together and do that, and I'll be at the back at the end of the round. So 2 together all the way around. Okay, so I'm all the way around. This is it. So I'm going to just cut this yarn so it has a long tail, and I am going to pull that out. So we'll use that, and then we'll pull out our stitch marker, and you need to have 4 of these bad boys. Now, when you crochet like I do, normally the tail falls to the wrong side, which is what we need to look at. So make sure you pull the tail to the interior of this, so that you have a nice flat surface. When you go to sew this to your bag, you don't want to interfere with any of this stuff, but you may want to play within this section. So let's start assembling. We're now going to bring back our bag. You can see the one side has the slip stitch. Keep that as the back and put your flower on the other side, that it's a nice clean surface. And when you put your flower in, the point faces up and straight on down, like this. What I'm going to recommend to you is that you are going to find a way to be able to position this in a way that it won't move as you're sewing. So just use some pins and just kind of hold it into position as you go. Okay, so just keep looking at it and things can move around if you don't secure it. So make sure you pin it down or find a way to secure it, and then you can start sewing it in just a moment. So now I just pinned this down and it's only to the upper surface, and I want to turn it in a way that I can get my hand in behind. I'm going to put the one side through a tapestry needle, and I'm going to sew it in a way that it's going to connect just beyond here. So I'm going to just circle my way around. So when I go to start, I'm going to have a slip knot on the other side, and I'm going to leave this on the back. So I'm just going to eye it up in behind, come through. So don't interfere with that slip stitching at all, and then just go on back. Okay, and when you go back, that slip stitch that we had, or that slip knot, you just want to pull that through there, and that will lock it into position. And as each petal gets secured into position, then you can just take out your pins. So coming back and behind, and just stay within this section. Okay, so I want you to circle all the way around, and I'll be right back in a moment after that's done. We're now going to sew the handles onto the bag. The handles are approximately 4 inches deep from the top of the piece here. Okay, so you can do it as long as you want to. And what I would do and recommend is that you use a pin again to highlight that and hold that into position, and you'll take that out later. So then do the other side and make sure that the distance looks pretty much close to the same. Okay, so you're going to do this on both sides. Okay, and when you did that, you got to make sure this handle is not twisted in any weird way. So when you're holding it, it will look like that. So let's do this side first, and we're going to use those tuft buttons, and we're going to go right through the work. And once you have this secured in, then you can just pull this out and pull out the pin, and just go in there. So just use the long tails and go right through the handle and through the surface of the bag. Make sure you don't go all the way through, but stop at the first surface on the inside and secure these in a position. I'd also highlight to you that I don't want you to interfere with the top surface, so don't come all the way through and through the front of this. Stay within the back side of this as well. Okay, so once you're in, you're good, and make it look really good. Now, because I didn't follow the color sequence here, it can be kind of a pain. So I'm just going to look back and go right through the surface of the handle and the first surface here, and pull back, and then come back out through the front. And I want to just grab onto the top button on the inside of the underside of this and pull tight. Okay, and once you have that secured, you can remove that pin and then just sew all the way around the interior of the tuft button and secure that in, and you'll do that for all 4 of them. So this is it. Both of the handles are secure into position, and the flower is on, and this is good to go. So this is a much bigger project than I expected. If you did get this far, give yourself a congratulations, and be sure to share your stuff on Facebook or social media platforms so that we can ogle your fine stitch work today. That's it, and we hope you had a great one. We'll see you. Bye-bye.